boss saw his nanny sleeping on a park bench. Then he did something that left everyone speechless. Richard Thompson felt the weight of the cold winter night in Chicago when he decided to take a different route home. His construction company had closed a big deal that day, but something in his heart wouldn't let him feel completely happy. That's when his eyes caught a sight that made him stop abruptly in the middle of the sidewalk. On a bench in Grant Park, under the yellowish glow of a streetlight, a woman held two small children close, all of them covered only with old newspapers. Richard's heart nearly stopped when he recognized the woman's face. It was Jennifer Wilson, the nanny who had cared for his daughter Emma for nearly 2 years. The same woman who arrived at his house every day looking impeccable, always smiling and treating his daughter with a tenderness even he and his wife Melissa admired. "Mom, when can we go back home?" a child's voice whispered, breaking the silence of the night. Richard hid behind a tree, feeling tears burn his eyes. The child who had spoken couldn't have been older than 8, and the younger one, a little girl with curly hair, slept soundly in Jennifer's arms. "Soon, sweetheart. Soon we'll have our little home again," Jennifer replied, her voice straining to hide the pain. "Now sleep, because Mommy has to work early tomorrow." Richard stayed there a few minutes longer, watching the scene like it was a nightmare. How could the woman who took such good care of his daughter be out here on the street with nowhere to sleep with her own children? He walked back home with heavy steps, each one echoing in his mind like a drumbeat. When he arrived at his luxury apartment in Lincoln Park, he found Melissa watching TV in the lavish living room. "You're late today," she said, without looking away from the screen. "Traffic was bad," Richard lied, still processing what he'd seen. That night he couldn't sleep. He kept wondering how Jennifer managed to arrive at his house every day, looking put together and cheerful when she was going through something so hard. How could she care for Emma with so much love when her own children were sleeping outside? The next morning, Richard anxiously waited for Jennifer's arrival. When she rang the doorbell at exactly 7, as she always did, he answered the door himself. "Good morning, Mr. Thompson," she said with her usual smile, but he could see the shadow of exhaustion in her eyes. "Good morning, Jennifer. Come in, please." She looked impeccable, as always. Hair tied in a neat bun, simple but clean and pressed clothes, shoes shining. No one would guess she'd spent the whole night on a park bench. "Is Emma still asleep?" she asked, hanging her bag on the wall hook. "She is. Jennifer, can I talk to you for a minute?" She looked at him curiously, but nodded. Richard led her to the kitchen, away from where Melissa was still sleeping. "Jennifer, I need to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with me." "Of course, Mr. Thompson. What is it?" Richard took a deep breath. "Last night I passed by Grant Park and saw..." Before he could even finish, Jennifer's face went pale. She gripped the kitchen counter like she might faint. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said quickly, but her voice trembled. "Jennifer, I saw you and your children sleeping on that park bench." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, back to the story. "No, you must have mistaken me for someone else. I have a twin sister. Maybe it was her," Jennifer desperately lied. Richard felt his heart tighten even more. Jennifer's obvious lie revealed her desperation to keep her job. She was willing to make up anything to avoid losing her only source of income. "Jennifer, please, you don't have to lie to me. I just want to understand what's going on so I can help." Jennifer's eyes filled with tears, but she kept denying. "I need this job, Mr. Thompson. Emma will wake up soon and..." "Jennifer, stop." Richard placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Tell me what's happening. I promise I won't fire you." She looked at him with a mix of hope and distrust. After a few seconds, she broke down crying. "I got evicted 3 weeks ago," she confessed between sobs. "I was 2 months behind on rent because my youngest, Oliver, was hospitalized with bronchitis. I spent all my savings on medicine and tests." Richard felt like he'd been punched in the gut. "And you've been on the street since then?" "During the day, I leave the kids at the city shelter. They take them during business hours. But at night, the shelter closes, so we stay in the park." "My God, Jennifer, why didn't you tell me sooner?" She wiped her tears with the back of her hand. "How could I, Mr. Thompson? Admit I'm a mother who can't even give her kids a home. I'd lose my job on the spot. Richard understood that Jennifer's pride, though understandable, was making things even harder for her and her children. But he also knew that in her position, he'd probably do the same. How old are your kids? Ethan is 8 and Lily is 5. They're good kids, Mr. Thompson. Never caused any trouble. And their father? Jennifer's expression hardened. We haven't spoken in 2 years. He left when he found out Oliver had breathing problems. Said he didn't want to be responsible for a sick child. Richard felt anger rising inside him. How could a man abandon his own children in such a difficult time? Jennifer, we'll fix this. I'll help you find a home. No, Mr. Thompson, she said quickly. I won't take charity. I just need my job here. In time, I'll save enough to rent another place. But your kids are sleeping on the streets, Jennifer. I know, and it's breaking my heart, but I can't accept handouts. I need to earn things myself. Richard admired Jennifer's dignity but felt frustrated. How do you help someone who refuses help? That day, he couldn't focus on work. His mind kept returning to Jennifer and the children. When he went home that night, he avoided the park. He couldn't bear seeing that scene again. But the next day, curiosity won. He told Melissa he was going to buy cigarettes at the bakery and walked to Grant Park instead. It was almost 11 at night when he arrived. Jennifer was awake, stroking the hair of her 2 sleeping children in her lap. She hummed softly, a song Richard didn't recognize. Even in the hardest moment of her life, she still found strength to comfort them. Richard hid behind a tree and watched. After a few minutes, he saw a man approach the bench where they sat. "Good evening," the man said. "Are you all right?" "We're fine, thank you," Jennifer replied politely. "I'm a volunteer with the street ministry. If you'd like, I can take you to a shelter that stays open at night." "Thank you, but we're fine here." "But ma'am, it's freezing. Your children could get sick." "They're bundled up. I appreciate your concern." The man pressed a little longer, but Jennifer kept refusing with quiet dignity. When he left, Richard saw that she was silently crying. The next day, Richard arrived early at the office and began researching shelters and social programs in the city. He discovered there were several options, but most had waiting lists or specific conditions that Jennifer might not meet. When he got home that evening, Melissa was waiting for him with a serious look. "Richard, we need to talk." "What is it?" "It's about Jennifer. I've noticed she's been acting strange lately. Just yesterday, she nearly fell asleep on her feet while giving Emma a bath." Richard felt his stomach tighten. "She must just be a little tired." "Richard, I'm suspicious. I think she might be using drugs or something. No one looks that exhausted without a reason." "Melissa, Jennifer doesn't do drugs. She's a responsible person." "How can you be so sure? We've known her for 2 years, but do we really know her? I think we should let her go and hire another nanny." Panic set in for Richard. If Jennifer lost her job, how would she survive on the streets with her kids? "We're not doing that, Melissa. Jennifer is wonderful with Emma." "But Richard, what if she's dealing with something serious? What if it affects her work? I don't want to risk our daughter's safety." "Give her 1 more week. If you still think it's affecting her work, we'll talk again." Melissa reluctantly agreed, but Richard could tell she was still suspicious. He needed to act fast. The next day, when Jennifer arrived, Richard noticed she looked even more exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes, moving slower than usual. "Jennifer, did you sleep well last night?" "Yes, Mr. Thompson," she lied. "How are your kids?" "They're fine, thank you for asking." Richard decided to be direct. "Jennifer, I'll be honest with you. My wife thinks you've been acting strange and wants to let you go." Jennifer's face turned pale. "Why? Did I do something wrong?" "No, you didn't. She's just worried you're too tired and afraid it might affect your work with Emma." "I'll do better, Mr. Thompson. I promise I'll improve. Please don't leave me without a job right now." "I don't want to let you go, Jennifer, but you have to let me help somehow." "What do you mean?" Richard took a deep breath. "You and your kids can't keep sleeping on the streets. It's affecting your health and your work. More importantly, it's putting your children at risk." "I know, but..." "No buts, Jennifer. I have an offer for you." She looked at him with curiosity and apprehension. I have a small apartment I use as an office here in the neighborhood. It has one bedroom, a tiny kitchen, and a bathroom. You can stay there until you get back on your feet." "No, Mr. Thompson, I told you I won't accept charity." "It's not charity. I'll charge a symbolic rent, like $300 a month, just so you have a safe place to sleep." "Even so, Jennifer, think of your kids. They deserve a bed and a safe place." She fell silent for a few minutes, clearly torn between pride and love for her children. "Can I see the apartment first?" she finally asked. "Of course. How about at lunchtime?" That afternoon, Richard took Jennifer to see the apartment. It was simple but clean and had the basics. When she saw the small bedroom with a double bed, her eyes filled with tears. "How long has it been since you slept in a bed?" Richard asked. 3 weeks, she whispered. "Then it's settled. You're moving in today." "Mr. Thompson, I don't know how to thank you." "No need to thank me. Just keep doing your job well and taking care of Emma like you always have, and pay the $300 at the end of the month." "I'll pay on time, I promise." That night, Richard felt lighter than he had in a long time. He knew Jennifer and the kids were sleeping in a warm bed, safe and sound. But he had no idea his troubles were just beginning. The next day, Melissa came home earlier than usual and found Richard in the office. "Richard, we need to talk. Now." "What is it?" "I found out what you did." Richard felt his blood run cold. "What did you find out?" "That you rented the office apartment to Jennifer. The building manager told me she saw a woman with 2 kids going in there last night." "Melissa, I can explain." "Explain what?" "That you're helping our employee behind my back. That you're using our property for charity without consulting me." "It's not charity, Melissa. She's paying rent." "How much?" Richard hesitated. $300. $300? Richard, that apartment is worth at least $1,500. You're practically giving it away. And what's the problem? We don't need that money, but she needs a place to live with her kids. The problem is you made this decision without talking to me. And worse, you're getting involved in an employee's personal life. She's not just an employee, Melissa. She's been taking care of our daughter for 2 years. She's part of our family." "No, she is not part of our family. She's an employee. And employees who mix personal life with work always cause trouble." Richard realized he was in a serious fight with his wife. He never imagined helping Jennifer could cause so much conflict at home. "Melissa, her kids were sleeping on the street." "On the street? How can you expect me to ignore something like that?" "You're not responsible for her problems, Richard. Everyone has to handle their own life." "What kind of person have you become, Melissa? When we started dating, you were more compassionate." "I haven't changed, Richard. I've just learned we can't solve the whole world's problems. And especially, we can't mix work with personal life." The argument went on for over an hour without any resolution. Melissa wanted Richard to evict Jennifer from the apartment and fire her. Richard flat out refused. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out as we're just starting. Now back to the story. "Fine, Richard. If you won't do the right thing, I will. I'll fire her tomorrow." "You won't do that, Melissa." "Yes, I will. It's my house too, and my daughter too. I have the right to choose who takes care of her." Richard realized the situation was spiraling out of control. He needed a different strategy. The next day, when Jennifer arrived, Richard called her aside before Melissa showed up. "Jennifer, I need to warn you about something. Melissa found out you're living in the apartment, and she's not happy at all." Jennifer's face filled with worry. "Is she going to fire me?" "She wants to, but I won't let her. But you need to help me here." "How can I help?" "Work even better than you already do. Show her your personal situation isn't affecting your job. In fact, show her you're working even better now that you have a place to rest." "I'll do that, Mr. Thompson. You can count on me." Jennifer kept her word. In the following days, she arrived even earlier, stayed later, and took care of Emma with even more affection. She played more with the girl, told more stories, helped with homework. Richard noticed Emma had grown even more attached to Jennifer. The girl had always liked her nanny, but now their bond seemed stronger than ever. One afternoon, Richard came home and found Emma crying in Jennifer's arms. "What happened?" he asked worriedly. "She fell off her bike at the playground and scraped her knee," explained Jennifer, "but I already cleaned the cut and put a band-aid on it. It wasn't serious." "Daddy!" Aunt Jennifer sang that song that makes the pain go away, said Emma between sobs. Richard smiled. "What song is that?" "It's a song my grandmother used to sing to me when I was little," Jennifer explained. "It always worked for me, so I use it with the kids." "Sing it again, Aunt Jennifer," Emma asked. Jennifer began singing an old lullaby, and Richard felt moved, seeing the affection between them. How could Melissa want to fire someone so special? That night when Emma went to bed, she called Richard. "Daddy, can I tell you a secret?" "What secret, sweetheart?" "Why doesn't Mommy like Aunt Jennifer?" Richard was surprised. "Who said Mommy doesn't like Aunt Jennifer?" "I heard you fighting yesterday." "Mommy said she was going to let Aunt Jennifer go." Richard's heart sank. Emma had overheard the argument. "Sweetheart, sometimes grown-ups disagree about things, but that doesn't mean someone doesn't like someone else." "I don't want Aunt Jennifer to leave, Daddy. She's the person who understands me most in the whole world." "Why do you say that?" "Because when I'm sad, she always knows exactly what to do to make me feel better. And when I'm happy, she's happy with me. And she tells me stories no other grown-up tells." "What kind of stories?" "Stories about when she was a kid like me. She told me that when she was little, she was also afraid of the dark, just like me. And she taught me a trick to not be scared." "What trick?" "She said that in the dark live the stars we can't see, and that they're always there, watching over us. Now when it's dark, I talk to the invisible stars." Richard was touched by Jennifer's sensitivity. She truly had a special gift with children. "Daddy, do you promise you won't let Aunt Jennifer leave?" "I'll do my best, sweetheart." "Promise?" Richard knew he couldn't make a promise he might not keep, but Emma's pleading eyes moved him. "I promise. I'll try really hard." The next morning, Melissa called Jennifer in for a talk. Richard was nervous but decided to trust Jennifer's ability to stand her ground. "Jennifer, have a seat, please," Melissa said coldly. "Of course, Mrs. Wilson." "I've heard you've been going through some personal problems. I'm handling it, Mrs. Wilson, and it hasn't affected my work here." "Well, I hope not, because I need you to understand something. This is a serious job. I entrust my daughter to you every day. I know the responsibility, Mrs. Wilson, and I can assure you Emma is always in good hands with me. I certainly hope so, because if I notice anything concerning, any sign that your problems are affecting your work, I'll have to make other decisions." "I understand completely." Melissa studied Jennifer's face for a few seconds. "One last thing, Jennifer. I don't want you discussing your personal life with Emma. Children don't need to know about adults' problems." "Of course, Mrs. Wilson. I always keep our conversations age-appropriate." "Good, then we're clear." Richard, who had been listening from the living room, was impressed by Jennifer's composure. She had remained polite and professional, even when treated coldly. In the days that followed, the tension in the house was palpable. Melissa watched Jennifer's every move, looking for any excuse to let her go. Jennifer, in turn, worked even harder, as if her life depended on it. And it really did. One morning, Emma woke up with a high fever. Richard was traveling for work, and Melissa had an important meeting at the office that she couldn't cancel. "Jennifer, you'll have to take Emma to the pediatrician," said Melissa. "I'll call the doctor's office to let them know you're coming." "Of course, Mrs. Wilson. Don't worry." Jennifer picked up Emma, grabbed the health insurance card and all the necessary documents, and headed to the hospital. At the doctor's office, the physician diagnosed a simple virus, prescribed some medication, and said Emma would be better in a few days. But for the rest of the day, the little girl was fussy and tearful, as children often are when they're sick. Jennifer spent the whole day singing to Emma, telling her stories, making homemade teas her grandmother had taught her, and caring for her with endless patience. When Melissa came home that evening, she found Emma sleeping peacefully in Jennifer's arms. "How is she?" Melissa whispered. "Her fever broke 2 hours ago. She ate a little soup and took her medicine. She should feel much better tomorrow." Melissa watched the scene. Emma was fast asleep in Jennifer's arms, and Jennifer was gently stroking the girl's hair, even though she was clearly exhausted. "Jennifer, you can go home. Thank you for taking care of her today." "No need to thank me, Mrs. Wilson. It's my job." "No, it's more than that. You truly care about her, don't you?" Jennifer smiled for the first time in weeks in Melissa's presence. Emma is a very special child. It's impossible not to care for her. That night, Melissa kept thinking about Jennifer's dedication. She had spent the entire day caring for Emma with a tenderness that went far beyond professionalism. The next day, Emma woke up feeling much better but still a little weak. Jennifer continued to care for her with all the love in the world, and Melissa noticed every gesture. "Aunt Jennifer, can you tell me how you learned to take care of sick children?" Emma asked. "I learned from my grandmother, Emma. She always said love and patience heal any pain." "Was your grandmother like you?" "She was very much like me, yes. She loved children and always helped everyone." "Is she still alive?" Jennifer was silent for a few seconds. "No, sweetheart. She went to heaven a few years ago." "Do you miss her?" "I miss her very much, but I know she's watching over me from above." "Like the invisible stars you told me about?" "Just like the invisible stars." Melissa, who was listening from the kitchen, felt something stir in her heart. There was a genuine tenderness in the way Jennifer spoke to Emma. That afternoon, when Emma took her nap, Melissa called Jennifer over to talk. "Jennifer, I want to apologize for how I've treated you lately." Jennifer was surprised. "There's no need to apologize, Mrs. Wilson." "Yes, there is. I've been worried about everything, but I realized you've never let it affect your work here. In fact, you've been working even harder." "I always do my best, Mrs. Wilson." "I know, and I want you to know I recognize that. Richard told me about your situation, and I'm so sorry for what you've been through." "Thank you." "Jennifer, can I ask you something personal?" "Of course." "How can you be so loving with Emma when you're going through so much yourself?" Jennifer thought for a moment before answering. "I think it's because I know how important it is for a child to feel loved and safe. My own children are going through a hard time, so I want to make sure at least one child in my life feels completely safe and loved." Melissa felt her eyes well up. "Do you have children Emma's age?" "Yes. Lily is 5, just like Emma, and I have Ethan, who's 8. "How are they handling your situation?" "They're strong. Stronger than I ever imagined kids could be. But sometimes I see a sadness in their eyes that no child should have. And doesn't that make you angry? Make you want to take it out on someone?" "It makes me want to fight. But anger doesn't solve anything. The only thing that does is working hard and never giving up." Melissa was impressed by Jennifer's maturity and wisdom. "Jennifer, I'd love to meet your children." "Really? Really? How about bringing them over this weekend? Emma would love to meet other kids." I'd be so happy about that." The following Saturday, Jennifer arrived with Ethan and Lily. Richard and Melissa were struck by how well-mannered and affectionate the children were. Ethan, though only 8 years old, had an impressive maturity. He cared for his younger sister with a sense of responsibility that touched Richard's heart. Lily, on the other hand, was a sweet and shy girl who was immediately enchanted by Emma's toys. "Do you want to see my room?" Emma asked excitedly. "Can we?" Lily replied, her eyes shining. The 3 children ran upstairs while Richard and Melissa stayed to talk with Jennifer. "Your kids are so well behaved, Jennifer," Melissa said. "Thank you. I've always tried to teach them the importance of respect and kindness. How do you manage to raise them so well despite all the hardships?" "I believe education isn't about money, Melissa. It's about love and time, and that's something I've always had to give them." Richard was moved seeing how Jennifer, even in the toughest situation of her life, remained an exemplary mother. "Jennifer, may I ask how you ended up in this situation?" Richard asked. Jennifer took a deep breath. "It's a long story. Are you sure you want to hear it?" "We do. I was married to the children's father, Robert. I worked as a nursing assistant at a hospital here in the South Side. We had a simple life, but we were happy." She paused, as if gathering strength to continue. 2 years ago, Oliver, my youngest, started having serious breathing problems. His bronchitis attacks were severe. We had to do multiple tests, hospital stays, specialist visits. And your insurance didn't cover it? It covered some things, but not everything. And I had to miss a lot of work to care for him. In the end, I was fired for too many absences. Richard and Melissa exchanged a look filled with compassion. That's when the real trouble began. Without my salary, we started struggling. Robert grew stressed, irritable. He said he couldn't take it anymore. And he left? One day, I came home and he was gone. He left a note saying he couldn't handle it anymore, that he needed a simpler life. Melissa felt anger rising inside her. He abandoned you? He did, and he never came back. No child support, no visits, nothing. It's like we don't exist to him anymore. What kind of man does that? Richard asked, outraged. I ask myself that every day, but I can't dwell on him. I have to focus on my children. And how have you survived all this time? I found odd jobs here and there. Odd. Cleaning, caring for the elderly, selling products door to door, but nothing steady, nothing that covered all the bills. Is that when you started working with us? Yes. When I saw your ad looking for a nanny, I thought it was my salvation. A steady job, a reliable paycheck. I thought I'd finally stabilized our lives. And you did for a while. I did. For almost 2 years, we had a normal life. I managed to rent a small house, but it was ours. The children were happy, studying hard. I thought I had moved past the tough phase. What happened that led to you being evicted? Oliver had a very severe bronchitis attack in January. I had to hospitalize him for a week. Even with health insurance, I had unexpected expenses. Special medications, a nebulizer, some respiratory therapy sessions. And that affected the rent? It affected everything. I fell behind on 2 months' rent and couldn't catch up. The landlord was understanding at first, but then he lost patience. Richard shook his head, realizing how quickly a situation can spiral out of control when you have little savings. Jennifer, where are your parents? Couldn't they help? My father passed away when I was a teenager. My mother lives in the countryside at my sister's house. She gets a very small pension, and my sister has 4 kids. She can't help us. What about your ex-husband's family? They never liked me. They always thought Robert had married beneath him. When he left, they made it clear they wanted nothing to do with us. Melissa felt deep sadness hearing Jennifer's story. Jennifer, I'm so sorry for everything you've been through. Thank you, Melissa, but we're getting through it. Now that we have a place to live, I'll be able to get our lives back on track. Just then, the 3 children came running down the stairs, laughing and playing. Mom, Emma has a talking doll, Lily said excitedly. And she has her own tablet, Ethan added. Emma took Lily's hand. Aunt Jennifer, can Lily come over to play more often? If Emma's parents say yes, of course she can. She can, Emma, Melissa said. You can come over whenever you want. Ethan and Lily's faces lit up with happiness. That afternoon, Richard and Melissa discovered a close-knit, loving and resilient family. The children played together like siblings, and Jennifer proved to be a devoted and caring mother. When it was time to leave, Emma started crying. I don't want them to go, Mum. They'll come back another day, sweetheart. Promise? I promise. That night, after Emma fell asleep, Richard and Melissa talked about the afternoon they'd had. Richard, I was completely wrong about Jennifer. Why? I thought her problems would affect her work, but she's actually even more dedicated because of them. She knows the value of her job. And what did you think of the kids? They're wonderful, polite, affectionate, mature. Jennifer is doing an amazing job raising them alone, so you don't want to fire her anymore. Not only do I not want to fire her, I want to help more. That apartment you rented for her is too small for 3 people. Richard was surprised. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we look for a bigger apartment for them, with 2 bedrooms, so the kids have their own space. Melissa, that would be wonderful, but do you think she'd accept? If we present it as a work benefit like a functional home, I think she would. We can say it so she has a better place to host Emma when needed. Richard was moved, seeing the change in Melissa's heart. I love you, you know. I love you too. And you know why? Because you have a good heart. You reminded me of who I can be too. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, Take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. The following Monday, Richard looked at some apartments in the area. He found a 2-bedroom apartment with a living room, kitchen and bathroom for $800 a month. When he got home, he called Jennifer to talk. Jennifer, Melissa and I have been talking about your situation. Did something happen? No, nothing bad. Actually, something good. We thought it might be nice for you to have a bigger apartment. Why? Well, sometimes we might need you to keep Emma longer, or even have her stay overnight at your place. It would be good to have a more suitable space for that. Jennifer grew thoughtful. That makes sense. But the apartment we're in now works fine for us. I know it does. But we found a 2-bedroom apartment so the kids can have their own space for $800 a month. $800? Mr. Thompson, I can't afford $800 in rent. Jennifer, we were thinking of giving you a raise. A raise? To $2,500 a month. Jennifer was speechless. Her current salary was $2,000. Mr. Thompson, I don't know what to say. You can say yes or no, but we think you deserve this raise and a bigger apartment would be good for everyone. Can I see the apartment first? Of course. How about this afternoon? That afternoon, Jennifer saw the apartment and fell in love. It was simple, but it had 2 small bedrooms, a cozy living room, and a kitchen where they could share family meals. What do you think? Asked Richard. It's perfect, Mr. Thompson, perfect. So, is it decided? It's decided. That week, Richard and Melissa helped Jennifer move into the new apartment. They bought some basic furniture, beds for the rooms, a sofa for the living room, and a table for the kitchen. When Ethan and Lily saw the apartment, they were thrilled. Mom, do we each get our own room? Ethan asked. Yes, sweetheart. I've never had my own room before, said Lily. Now you do, Jennifer replied, hugging her daughter. Richard and Melissa were moved, seeing the family's happiness. It was the first time in months they'd seen Jennifer truly smile. In the following days, the change in Jennifer was clear. She was rested, more cheerful, more energetic, and it showed in her work with Emma. Emma, in turn, loved having her new friends around. Sometimes after school, she'd go to Jennifer's apartment and play with Ethan and Lily. One afternoon, Emma came home bursting with excitement. Mom, you won't believe what happened today. What, sweetie? Aunt Jennifer taught me how to make carrot cake, and Ethan helped me mix the batter, and Lily licked the spoon with me. Melissa smiled. That's wonderful. How did the cake turn out? It was the most delicious cake in the world. Aunt Jennifer said it's her grandma's recipe. Did you save a piece for me and Dad? We did. It's in Aunt Jennifer's fridge. She said you can come get it whenever you want. That night, Richard and Melissa went to Jennifer's apartment to pick up the cake. When they arrived, they were deeply moved by the scene before them. Jennifer was helping Ethan with his homework at the kitchen table while Lily drew beside them. It was a normal, happy, complete family moment. Sorry to bother you, said Melissa. Not at all, Mrs. Wilson. Please come in. We came for the cake. Of course. Emma told me you'd stop by. Jennifer went to the fridge and brought out 2 slices of carrot cake. Try it and let me know what you think. Richard and Melissa tasted the cake and were surprised by how good it was. Jennifer, this cake is delicious, Melissa said. Thank you. It really is a family recipe. My grandma taught me. You should sell cakes, Jennifer. I'm sure they'd be a hit. Jennifer smiled. Sometimes I think about it, but for now I'm focused on babysitting. Aunt Jennifer, tell them about your dream, Ethan said. Ethan, tell them, Mom. It's a beautiful dream. What dream? Richard asked curiously. It's nothing serious, just a silly thought I have sometimes. Tell us, Jennifer, insisted Melissa. Well, sometimes I think about opening a little school. Not a big one, just a small place for kids aged 3 to 6, a place where they could learn through play with lots of care. What a wonderful idea, said Melissa. It's just a dream, really. For that, I'd need to study more, take a teaching course. And what's stopping you? Time and money, but maybe one day, right? Richard grew thoughtful. Jennifer, have you looked into teaching programs? I have. There are some online courses that are more affordable. But even then, it'd be hard to pay for. How long is the program? 4 years. Jennifer, what if we talked about this? Suggested Richard. About what? About you studying education. We could help with the costs. No, Mr. Thompson, I can't accept that. Why not? Because it's too much, and I already owe you so much. You don't owe us anything, Jennifer. You work hard, and you do it well. We'd pay for the course as an investment, because a nanny with a teaching degree would be even better for Emma. Jennifer fell silent, clearly processing the offer. Can I think about it? Of course, no rush. That night, Richard and Melissa talked about their proposal. Richard, do you think we went too far? Why? Paying for higher education for an employee. It's a lot of money. Melissa, Jennifer isn't just an employee. She's part of our daughter's life. And more than that, she's someone who deserves opportunities. I know. And I agree. I'm just wondering if it wouldn't be better for her to find other ways to take the course. Melissa, people in Jennifer's situation rarely get chances to change. They get stuck in low-paying jobs and can't invest in education to improve their lives. You're right. And you know what? I think having someone with a teaching degree looking after Emma would be really good. So we keep the offer. We do. The next day, Jennifer arrived at work looking thoughtful. Jennifer, have you thought about our conversation yesterday? Asked Richard. I've thought a lot, Mr. Thompson, and I have a counteroffer. What counteroffer? How about you lend me the money for the course? I'd pay it back in installments deducted from my salary. Richard and Melissa exchanged a glance. This way, Jennifer could accept help without feeling awkward. How many installments would you like to pay? I checked and the course costs $10,000 total. What if I paid in 48 installments of $250? Deal, said Richard. Really? Really? When would you start studying? The next semester begins in August. I can still apply this week. Then apply. And Jennifer, yes? I'm sure you'll be an excellent teacher. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. You have no idea what this means to me. That week, Jennifer enrolled in the online teaching program. She'd study at home during her free time after Emma went to bed. When Ethan and Lily found out their mom was going to college, they were proud. Mommy's going to be a teacher, Lily told everyone. My mom is the smartest in the world, Ethan added. Emma was excited too. Aunt Jennifer, when you become a teacher, will you teach me? If your parents say yes, of course. The following months passed peacefully. Jennifer worked during the day, took care of the kids in the afternoon and studied at night. It was a tough routine, but she was happy. Richard and Melissa could see how dedicated she was to her studies. Sometimes when they came home late, they'd see the light in her apartment still on, knowing she was studying. One night, Richard knocked on Jennifer's door. Hi, Mr. Thompson. Is everything okay? No, nothing's wrong. I just wanted to stop by and see how you're doing. Please come in. Richard stepped inside and saw Jennifer with several books spread across the kitchen table. Studying? Always. I have an online child psychology test tonight. How's the course going? It's wonderful, Mr. Thompson. I'm learning so much about child development, education, psychology. It's completely changing how I see children. And how's balancing work and school? I won't lie, it's tough, but I love it. Sometimes I stay up late studying, but it's so rewarding. And the kids? How are they handling this new routine? They've been amazing. Ethan sometimes helps by organizing my books, and Lily stays quiet when I'm studying. They understand it's important. Jennifer, I want you to know Melissa and I are so proud of you. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. You changed my life. No, Jennifer, you changed your own life. We just gave you an opportunity. Just then, Ethan appeared in the kitchen. Hi, Mr. Thompson. Hi, Ethan. How are you? I'm good. Mr. Thompson, can I tell you something? Of course, Ethan. The boy glanced at his mother, as if asking for permission. Go ahead, sweetheart. Mr. Thompson, I wanted to thank you for what you did for us. Richard felt a lump in his throat. No need to thank me, Ethan. Yes, there is. Before you helped us, I was so scared we'd never have a home again. I was afraid Mom would get sick from working too much and wouldn't be able to take care of us. Jennifer moved closer to her son and ran her hand through his hair. Now I'm not scared anymore. We have a home, Mom is happy studying, and I know we'll be okay. Richard had to fight back tears. Ethan, you're a very special boy. Your mother must be so proud of you. I'm so proud of both my children, Jennifer said. They give me strength to keep going every day. That night, Richard walked home with a warm heart. He'd seen a family rebuilding itself, and it filled him with immense joy. The months passed and everyone's lives were moving forward smoothly. Jennifer excelled in her studies, always earning top grades. Emma grew more attached to her and her friends, Ethan and Lily. One afternoon, Emma came home and asked her parents for a serious talk. Mom, Dad, I need to talk to you. Of course, sweetheart, what is it? I have a really important idea. What idea? I think you should adopt Ethan and Lily. Richard and Melissa exchanged surprised glances. Why do you think that, Emma? Because we're already a family. Aunt Jennifer takes care of me like I'm her own, and I love Ethan and Lily like they're my real siblings. Emma, adoption is a very serious thing, Richard explained. I know it's serious, Dad. That's why I thought about it a lot before talking to you. And what does Aunt Jennifer think? I haven't asked her yet. I wanted to know if you'd agree first. Melissa knelt in front of Emma. Sweetheart, why is this so important to you? Because I never had siblings and now I do, and I don't ever want us to be apart. I want Ethan and Lily to be my real brother and sister. Richard was moved by Emma's maturity. Emma, we'll talk about this, okay? Promise you'll think about it. We promise. That night, Richard and Melissa talked about Emma's suggestion. Richard, did you think the idea was absurd? Honestly, no. And you? Me neither. I mean, it would be a huge change in our lives, but we already love those kids as if they were our own, right? Exactly. And Jennifer is like a sister to me. So, you'd be willing to? I would. But the decision isn't just ours. Jennifer would have to agree, and that would be really hard for her. Why? Because in a way it would feel like she was losing her children. Or like she was gaining a bigger family. Maybe. But this is something that would need to be discussed very carefully. I agree. And maybe now isn't the right time. Jennifer is focused on her studies, building her independence. Maybe it's better to wait. You're right. Let's keep this idea aside for now. A few days later, Emma asked about the conversation. Mom, have you thought about adopting Ethan and Lily? We have, sweetheart. But we decided it's not the right time. Why? Because Aunt Jennifer is studying to be a teacher, and this is a really important time for her. We don't want to disrupt that. That makes sense, but will you think about it again in the future? We will. Okay then. The months passed peacefully. Jennifer was in her second year of college and excelling more and more. She had discovered a passion for early childhood education that even she hadn't known she had. One afternoon, she called Richard and Melissa to talk. Mr. Thompson, Mrs. Wilson, I wanted to share some news with you. What news? I've been invited to do a supervised internship at a preschool here in the neighborhood. That's wonderful, Jennifer, said Melissa. It's a paid internship, and it would be in the mornings. I'd keep working with you in the afternoons. And you want to do it? I really do. It would be an amazing experience for my training. Then go for it, said Richard. We fully support you. Thank you. You have no idea how much this means to me. Jennifer started the internship and fell even more in love with the field. She worked with children aged 3 to 5, and the teachers were impressed by her natural way with them. One afternoon, the school's coordinator called Jennifer in for a talk. Jennifer, I want to make you an offer. What offer? When you graduate, I'd like to offer you a full-time teaching position here at the school. Jennifer was speechless. Really? Really? You have a special gift for working with children, and more than that, you're dedicated and responsible. I don't even know what to say. You don't have to answer now. You still have 2 years left before graduating, but I wanted you to know there's an opportunity waiting for you here. That evening, Jennifer shared the news with Richard and Melissa. That's amazing news, Jennifer, said Richard. It really is, Melissa agreed. You deserve every good opportunity coming your way. But I'm worried about one thing, Jennifer said. What? When I graduate and become a teacher, I won't be able to work as Emma's nanny anymore, and I don't want to abandon you after everything you've done for me. Richard and Melissa exchanged a glance. Jennifer, when that time comes, we'll talk, Richard said. What matters now is you focusing on your studies and your career. You're not upset. Upset? Jennifer, we're proud, Melissa said. Seeing you grow professionally is a joy for us. And Emma, how do you think she'll react when I can't take care of her every day? Emma will understand, Richard said. And besides, you won't disappear from her life. You'll always be part of our family. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. You really consider me family? Of course, Melissa said. You and your children are our family, Jennifer. That night, Jennifer went to bed with a heart full of gratitude. She had begun this desperate journey sleeping on a park bench with her children. Now she had a home, a job, was studying, and had found a family who loved her. 2 years had passed. Jennifer graduated with honors in education, being one of the top students in her class. The graduation ceremony was an emotional day for the whole family. Richard, Melissa, and Emma sat in the front row, cheering as Jennifer stepped onto the stage to receive her diploma. Ethan and Lily were also there, proud of their mother. When Jennifer came down from the stage, everyone hugged her. "Congratulations, Professor Jennifer," said Emma. "Thank you, sweetheart." "We're so proud of you," said Richard. "So very proud," Melissa agreed. That week, Jennifer had an important talk with Richard and Melissa. "I want you to know that starting next month I'll begin working as a teacher at the school where I interned. We know, Jennifer, and we're so happy for you. But I don't want you to think I'm abandoning you. You changed my life." "And you changed ours too," said Melissa. "How so?" "You taught us about solidarity, generosity, and what truly matters in life," Richard explained. "And more than that," Melissa continued, "you gave us a bigger family, because now we have you, Ethan, and Lily too." "What about Emma?" Jennifer asked. "Well, we were thinking," Richard said. "How about if you kept babysitting Emma, but just a few afternoons a week? You'd teach in the mornings and watch her some afternoons." "You'd do that?" "Of course. That way you'd have 2 incomes, and Emma would still have you around." "And there's one more thing," Melissa added. "What?" "Since you're a teacher now, we think it's fair to raise your pay when you're with us. After all, you're even more qualified now." Jennifer couldn't hold back her tears. "You're amazing." "No, Jennifer, you're the amazing one. You took a desperate situation and turned it into victory through hard work and determination." That night, when Jennifer returned home, she gathered Ethan and Lily for a talk. "Kids, Mommy has something important to tell you." "What is it, Mom?" Ethan asked. "Starting next week, Mommy will begin working as a teacher." "Yay!" Lily cheered. "Mommy's a teacher." "I'm so proud of you, Mom," said Ethan. "Thank you, my loves. But you know this means a change in our routine, right?" "How?" "Mommy will work mornings at school and some afternoons will still be with Emma. That means you'll be home alone some afternoons." "We can handle it, Mom," Ethan said. "I'll take care of Lily." "I know you can. You've always been so responsible. But I want you to know that if you need anything, you can call me or Richard and Melissa." "Mom, are we still going to live here?" Lily asked. "Yes, sweetheart. This is our home now." "And will we still be friends with Emma?" "Of course. You'll always be friends with Emma." The following Monday, Jennifer started her first day as a teacher. She was nervous but excited. When she arrived at school, she was warmly welcomed by her colleagues and students. Her class had 15 4-year-olds, all full of energy and curiosity. "Good morning, children. I'm Miss Jennifer, and starting today, I'll be taking care of you here at school." "Good morning, Miss Jennifer," the children chorused. "How does you like to play?" "Yes, and learn new things?" "Yes." "Then we're going to get along just fine." The first day went even better than Jennifer had imagined. The kids adored her, and she felt completely fulfilled doing what she had always dreamed of. In the afternoon, she went to take care of Emma as agreed. "Aunt Jennifer, how was your first day as a teacher?" Emma asked excitedly. "It was wonderful, sweetheart. I loved it." "Will you still like me even though you're a teacher for other kids now?" Jennifer knelt down and hugged Emma. Emma, I'll always love you. You were the first child who showed me I had a knack for teaching. What do you mean? By taking care of you, I learned patience, how to be affectionate, and how to understand the way kids think. You taught me how to be a teacher. Emma smiled. So, I'm your first student. Exactly. You're my first and most special student. The following months were filled with happiness for everyone. Jennifer was fulfilled in her career, earning well, and able to provide an even better life for her children. Ethan and Lily, now 10 and 7 years old respectively, were thriving. Ethan was one of the top students in his class, and Lily had discovered a talent for drawing. Emma, now 7, still adored Jennifer and saw Ethan and Lily as siblings. One afternoon, Emma had an idea. Aunt Jennifer, can I ask you something? Of course, sweetheart. Why did you never get married again? Jennifer was surprised by the question. Why do you want to know? Because I think you deserve someone to take care of you too. I have all of you taking care of me, Emma. You and my kids are my family. But it's not the same. You deserve a husband who loves you. Jennifer smiled. Emma, sometimes things happen at the right time. And for now, I'm very happy with how our lives are. But don't you get lonely? I never feel lonely, Emma. I have a wonderful family, a job I love, and amazing friends like your parents. Okay, but if you ever meet someone nice, don't be afraid because of us, all right? Jennifer was touched by Emma's maturity. Thank you, sweetheart. If that ever happens, you'll be the first to know. That night, Jennifer kept thinking about her conversation with Emma. It was true that sometimes she felt lonely, especially at night after the kids were asleep. But she had learned to value the independence she had gained. A few months later, during a faculty meeting at school, Jennifer met a new teacher who had just arrived to teach physical education. Hi, you must be Jennifer. I'm Michael, the new PE teacher. Hi, Michael. Nice to meet you. The pleasure's mine. I've heard great things about your work here. Thank you. How are you adjusting to the school? Very well. Everyone's been very welcoming. Michael was a friendly man, around 40, and clearly loved kids. In the days that followed, Jennifer noticed he always found an excuse to talk to her. Jennifer, would you like to grab coffee after work? He asked one day. Thank you for the invite, but I have another job in the afternoon. Oh, I see. How about Saturday then? Jennifer hesitated. It had been so long since she'd gone out with anyone. Sure, she finally said. On Saturday, Michael and Jennifer met at a cafe near the school. The conversation flowed naturally, and Jennifer learned that Michael was also divorced and had a 9-year-old daughter. What's it like raising a daughter alone? Jennifer asked. Challenging, but also very rewarding. And you? How is it with 2 kids? Challenging too, but I was lucky to find people who helped me during the toughest time. Want to tell me about it? Jennifer hesitated for a moment, but then decided to share her whole story with Michael. She talked about the divorce, about the financial struggles, about the night she slept in the park with her children, about how Richard found her and changed her life. Michael listened silently, with an expression of admiration on his face. Jennifer, you're an incredible woman. Why? Because you took a situation that could have destroyed you and turned it into victory. You not only overcame the hardships, but also managed to achieve your dream of becoming a teacher. I had a lot of help. You had help because you deserved it. People like Richard only help those they see are worth helping. Jennifer felt warmed by Michael's words. Their meetings became frequent, and Jennifer realized she was developing feelings for him. He was kind, affectionate, and seemed genuinely interested in her and her story. After 2 months of getting to know each other, Michael asked an important question. Jennifer, I'd like to meet your children. Do you think that would be possible? Are you sure? I am. Your children are a part of you. If I want to truly know you, I need to know them too. Jennifer was moved. All right, how about next Sunday? We could have a picnic in the park. Perfect. On Sunday, Jennifer took Ethan and Lily to meet Michael. At first, the children were shy, but Michael had a very natural approach with them. So, you're the kids of the coolest teacher at the school where I work, he said. You're a teacher too? Ethan asked. I am. I teach PE. Cool. Do you teach soccer? I do. Do you like soccer? I love it. From there, the conversation flowed naturally. Michael played with the kids, told funny stories, and won them both over. On the way home, Lily asked, "Mom, is Michael going to be our stepdad?" Jennifer was surprised by the direct question. "Why do you ask, sweetheart?" "Because he's nice and you smile differently when he's around." "And would you like him to be your stepdad? If he makes you happy, then yes." "What about you, Ethan? What do you think?" "He seems like a good person, Mom, and it's been a while since you smiled this much." Jennifer was touched to see her children approved of Michael. A few weeks later, she decided to tell Richard and Melissa about the new relationship. "Jennifer, what wonderful news," Melissa said. "We're so happy for you. Would you like to meet him?" "Of course," Richard said. "How about dinner at our place?" "That would be great. And we'll invite the kids too. It'll be a big family dinner." The following Saturday, Michael went to Richard and Melissa's for dinner. He was warmly welcomed by everyone, and Emma was excited to meet the new uncle. Over dinner, conversations flowed naturally. Michael talked about his work, his daughter, and showed himself to be a kind and genuine person. After dinner, while the kids played in the living room, the adults talked on the porch. "Michael, Jennifer told us you're also divorced," Richard said. "Yes, my ex-wife and I separated 3 years ago." "How's your relationship now?" "It's cordial. We get along for our daughter's sake, no personal issues left." "And your daughter? How is she handling you dating?" "She was happy. Said I'd been a little down lately, and that it's good to see me smiling again." Melissa smiled. "Kids have an amazing sense of adults' emotions, don't they?" "They really do. And you? How do you feel about Jennifer's relationship?" "We're very happy," Richard said. "Jennifer deserves all the happiness in the world. She's a very special person," Michael said. "I'm in love not just with her, but with her strength and determination. She really is special," Melissa agreed. The following months were filled with great happiness for Jennifer. She was fulfilled at work, happy in her relationship, and watching her children thrive. Michael became a constant presence in the family's life, and even his daughter Sophia bonded well with Ethan, Lily, and Emma. One afternoon, Emma made an observation that moved everyone. "You know what I noticed?" she said to her parents. "What is it, sweetheart?" "Now our family is even bigger. There's Aunt Jennifer, Ethan, Lily, Uncle Michael, and Sophia. We've become a huge family." Richard and Melissa smiled. "And do you like this huge family?" "I love it. It's the best family in the world." That night, Richard and Melissa talked about how their lives had changed since that cold evening when Richard saw Jennifer sleeping in the park. "Richard, do you regret helping Jennifer?" "Regret it? Melissa, it was the best decision I've ever made." "Why?" "Because not only did we change her life and her children's lives, but she changed ours too. Our family became richer, more loving, and closer." "And Emma?" "Emma gained siblings, a second mother, and experiences she never would have had as an only child." "Do you think we did the right thing from the start?" "I think we made some mistakes at first, especially you when you wanted to fire her without understanding the situation. That's true, I was being prejudiced and selfish, but what matters is that in the end, we found the right path. And look where we are now." A year later, Michael proposed to Jennifer. He did it during a family picnic, with all the children present. "Jennifer Wilson, will you marry me?" he asked, kneeling on the park grass. "Yes," she answered, tears in her eyes. All the children clapped and cheered with joy. The wedding was simple, but deeply moving. The ceremony took place at the school where Jennifer and Michael worked, surrounded by friends and family. Richard walked Jennifer down the aisle since she had no father present. "Jennifer, I want you to know that today, I'm not just giving you away to Michael. I'm celebrating the incredible woman you've become." "Thank you, Mr. Richard, for everything." When the minister asked if anyone objected to the marriage, Emma raised her hand. "I object," she said, surprising everyone. "Emma," Melissa scolded. "Wait, Mom, I object to calling Aunt Jennifer Aunt. From today on, she'll be my second mom." Everyone laughed and were moved by Emma's declaration. After the wedding, Jennifer and Michael moved into a bigger house where they could comfortably accommodate all the children: Ethan, Lily, and Sophia. Richard and Melissa helped with the move and were emotional seeing the new family settle in. "Jennifer, do you remember that night in the park?" Richard asked. "How could I forget? It was the hardest night of my life. And look where you are now. You have a career you love, a beautiful family, a home of your own. I have all of this thanks to you." "No, Jennifer, you have all of this because you never gave up fighting for your dreams." 6 months after the wedding, Jennifer was offered a position as the school's educational coordinator, a significant promotion and recognition of her skills. "Jennifer, do you accept the position?" the principal asked. "Yes, I do. Thank you for your trust." "You deserve it, Jennifer. You're one of the best professionals we've ever had." That evening, Jennifer shared the news with her family. "I'm so proud of you, Mom," Ethan said. "You're going to be the boss." "Not exactly the boss, sweetheart, but it will be a bigger responsibility." "And are you ready?" Michael asked. "I am, and I'm really excited." Richard and Melissa were the first to congratulate Jennifer on her promotion. "We always knew you'd go far," said Melissa. "You believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself," Jennifer replied. "And now, what are your next dreams?" asked Richard. "Well, I was thinking about getting a master's degree in educational psychology." "And we'll support you just like we did with your undergrad," Richard said. "No, this time I can pay for it myself," Jennifer said with a smile. "Thanks to you, I'm now able to invest in my own future." Richard was moved. "Jennifer, that's the greatest gift you could give us." "What do you mean?" "Seeing that you've achieved complete independence, that you don't need our financial help anymore, it means we've accomplished our goal." "What goal?" "To give you a chance to rebuild your life. And you did it." That night, Jennifer went to bed thinking about the journey she had taken. From that cold night in the park to becoming the academic coordinator of a respected school. 3 years passed. Jennifer completed her master's and became a leading figure in early childhood education in the area. She also started giving talks about perseverance and education. Ethan, now 15, was one of the top students in high school and dreamed of becoming a doctor. Lily, 12, had developed an incredible talent for art and wanted to be a designer. Emma, 10, remained as affectionate as ever, but now also helped Jennifer with some educational projects. Sophia, Michael's daughter, had fully integrated into the family and considered Jennifer her second mother. One afternoon, Emma asked Jennifer a question. Mom Jennifer, can I ask you something?" "Of course, sweetheart." "Do you remember when you slept in the park with Ethan and Lily?" "Of course I remember. Why do you ask?" "Because sometimes I wonder what our lives would be like if Dad hadn't walked by that night." Jennifer grew thoughtful. "That's a hard question, Emma. I don't know how it would have been." "Do you think you would have made it anyway?" "I think so, sweetheart. Maybe in a different way. Maybe it would have taken longer, but I would have never stopped fighting for my kids." "And would you still have met us?" "Maybe not. And that would have been a huge loss for all of us." "Why?" "Because you're not just the family who helped me. You became my real family. You're a part of me now." Emma hugged Jennifer. "I love you, Mom Jennifer." "I love you too, my dear." That evening, Richard, Melissa, Jennifer, and Michael were talking on the porch of Richard and Melissa's house, while the kids played inside. "You know what I've been thinking?" Richard said. "What?" Jennifer asked. "That we should write a book about this story." "A book?" "Yes. The story of how one difficult night turned into the most beautiful thing that ever happened to us." "Who would write it?" Michael asked. "All of us together, each telling our own perspective." "That could be interesting," Melissa said. "Others might find inspiration in it." "Exactly," Richard agreed. "They'd see there's always a way to start over, no matter how hard things seem." "And that sometimes help comes from where you least expect it," Jennifer added. "But most of all," Michael said, "love and determination can overcome any obstacle." 2 years later, the book From Park Bench to Dream, A Story of Perseverance, was published and became a success. All proceeds were donated to a social project Jennifer created to help mothers in vulnerable situations. The project, called Fresh Start, offered job training, psychological support, and work opportunities for women facing struggles similar to Jennifer's past. "Jennifer, why did you decide to start this project?" asked a journalist during an interview. "Because I know what it's like to be in that situation. I know the desperation of not having a place to live with your children, not knowing what tomorrow will bring." "And what's the goal of the project?" "The goal is to give these women what was given to me, an opportunity. Not a handout, not charity, but a real chance to rebuild their lives." "How does it work?" "We offer training courses in various fields: elderly care, cleaning assistant, cook, nanny. Along with the training, we provide temporary housing and emotional support." "And the results?" "We've already helped over 200 women rebuild their lives. Many of them now have their own businesses or stable jobs." "What would you say to a woman going through the same situation you faced?" "I'd tell her never to give up. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how impossible it seems, there's always a way to start fresh, and that she shouldn't be ashamed to ask for help when she needs it. And for people who could help, that sometimes a simple gesture can completely change someone's life. It doesn't have to be something grand. Sometimes it's just giving an opportunity, believing in the person, offering dignified work." The interview aired on television and moved thousands of people. The Fresh Start project received donations from across the country and managed to expand to other cities. 10 years had passed since that night in the park. Ethan had graduated from medical school and was completing his residency in pediatrics. Lily had become a successful designer with her own studio. Sophia was studying education, inspired by Jennifer. Emma, now 17, had decided she wanted to follow in Jennifer's footsteps and become an educator too. "Mom, Jennifer, I want to work with you on the Fresh Start project," she said one day. "Really? Why?" "Because I grew up watching the work you do. I've seen how you transform people's lives. I want to be part of that." "Emma, are you sure?" It's emotionally demanding work. I'm sure you taught me that true happiness comes from helping others." Jennifer hugged Emma, moved. "Then when you finish college, you'll work with me. Promise?" "I promise." That night, Jennifer was at home, looking out the bedroom window. She could see the park where she had slept with her children 10 years earlier. Michael approached her. "What are you thinking about?" "I'm thinking about how incredible life is, how a night that felt like the end of everything was actually the beginning of it all." "Do you regret anything? The way it all happened?" "No. Because it's what brought me here. But I regret taking so long to understand that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. And now, are you happy?" "I'm completely happy, Michael. I have a wonderful family, work I love, and I'm helping others rebuild their lives." "What's your next dream?" "My next dream is to see all my children fulfilled and happy, and to keep expanding the Fresh Start project to help even more women." "And do you think you'll succeed?" "I'm sure of it, because I've learned that when we don't give up on our dreams, they always come true. It may take time, it may be hard, but they always come true." Just then the phone rang. It was Richard. "Jennifer, can you come over? We have a surprise for you." "What surprise?" "Come and see." When Jennifer arrived at Richard and Melissa's house, she found the whole family gathered: Ethan, Lily, Sophia, Emma, Michael, Richard, and Melissa. "What's going on?" she asked. "Jennifer, we wanted to honor you," Richard said. "Honor me how?" Emma stood up with a wrapped gift in her hands. "This is for you." Jennifer unwrapped the package and found a plaque with a photo of the whole family and the following words: "To Jennifer Wilson, the woman who taught us that love and determination can overcome any obstacle. With love, your family." Jennifer began to cry with emotion. "Why did you do this?" "Because you deserve it," said Richard. "Because you didn't just change your life, you changed all of ours. You taught us about courage, about never giving up, about loving without expecting anything in return," said Melissa. "And most of all," said Emma, "you taught us that family isn't just about blood. Family is who stands by us through good times and bad." Jennifer looked at all those people she loved and who loved her back. She remembered the desperate woman she had been 10 years ago, sleeping in the park with her children, not knowing what the future held. "Do you know what the most incredible part of this whole story is?" she said. "What?" they all asked. "That night in the park, which at the time felt like the worst night of my life, was actually the best night of my life, because it brought me to all of you." Richard stepped closer to her. "Jennifer, can I tell you a secret?" "Of course." "That night, when I saw you in the park, I was coming home from work completely frustrated. I had lost an important contract and felt like a failure. Really, really. But when I saw you there, protecting your children, even in the toughest situation, I realized what truly matters in life. You reminded me of the values I had forgotten. I did that. You did. You taught me that success isn't just about money. Success is having people we love and who love us back." Melissa also stepped closer. "And you taught me to be more compassionate, Jennifer. Before I met you, I was closed off, too worried about status and appearances." "What do you mean?" "You showed me that the truly important people are the ones who stand by us when we need them. That real wealth lies in the relationships we build." Emma hugged Jennifer. "And you taught me that we can choose our family. I chose you as my second mom." Ethan approached shyly. "Mom, can I say something?" "Of course, sweetheart. I've never told you this, but you're the bravest person I know. Back then, when we were on the streets, I was really scared, but seeing you always strong, always fighting, taught me to never give up on anything." "And you're applying that in med school, right?" Jennifer said proudly. "I am. Every time I face a tough case, I think of you and tell myself, if my mom could overcome all that, I can overcome any challenge too." Lily also spoke up. "Mom, you taught me that art can heal. When you told stories to me and Ethan during those hard days, I discovered the power of creativity." "What do you mean?" "The stories you told made me forget the sadness. That's how I realized I wanted to use my art to help people too." Sophia, who had been the shyest all these years, finally spoke. "Aunt Jennifer, can I say something?" "Of course, sweetheart. When my dad started dating you, I was jealous at first. I was afraid you'd try to replace my mom. And now? Now I know you never tried to replace anyone. You just made our family bigger. You gave me more love, not less." Michael hugged Jennifer around the waist. "And you taught me that love isn't just about receiving. It's mostly about giving. Seeing how you dedicate yourself to the kids, to your work, to the people you help, made me want to be a better person." That night they stayed up late talking, reminiscing about the important, touching, and funny moments they had shared over the years. When it was time to leave, Richard made one last remark. "Do you know what I find most beautiful about this whole story?" "What?" everyone asked. "It's just that each of us has grown. Each of us has become a better person because of this time together." "It's true," Melissa agreed. "Jennifer wasn't just helped by us, she helped us too." "How so?" Emma asked. "She taught us about true values, about not judging people, about the importance of solidarity," Richard explained. "And she gave us a bigger, closer family," Melissa added. Jennifer looked at everyone gathered there and felt like the luckiest person in the world. "Do you know the most important lesson I've learned in these 10 years?" she said. "What?" everyone asked. "That there's no such thing as coincidence. Richard walked through that park on that exact night because he was meant to, because our family was destined to find each other." "Do you believe in fate?" Michael asked. "I believe some people are placed in our lives for a special reason, and you were placed in mine to teach me about unconditional love. And you were placed in ours to teach us about strength and determination," Richard said. Emma stood up. "Everyone, I have an idea." "What idea?" they all asked. "What if every year, on the day Dad met Mom Jennifer in the park, we get together to celebrate the day our family found each other?" "What a beautiful idea, Emma," Jennifer said. "I'm in," Richard said. "We all are," the others agreed. "Then it's decided," Emma said. "Every June 15th will be our family day." That night, when Jennifer got home, she went to the children's room. Ethan was studying for a college exam, Lily was drawing, and Sophia was reading. "Are you all okay?" "We're fine, Mom. Ethan answered. Mum, can I ask you something? Lily said. Of course, sweetheart. Are you happy? Jennifer smiled. I'm very happy, Lily. Happier than I ever thought possible. Even after going through so many hardships, especially because of them, they taught me to cherish every good moment, every special person who came into my life. And you're not afraid of anything anymore? I still have fears, sweetheart. But now I know I can face anything because I'm not alone. I have you, I have Michael, I have Richard and Melissa, I have Emma. I have a family who loves me. And we also know we can face anything, Sophia said, because we have you, Av. That night, Jennifer lay beside Michael, thinking about everything that had happened over the years. Michael, do you think our story is common? How so? Do you think it's common for someone to find a family like the one I found? I don't think it's common, no. I think you were lucky to find each other. Or maybe it wasn't luck. Maybe it was exactly what was meant to happen. Could be. What matters is that it did. Michael, can I tell you something? Of course. That night in the park, I made a promise to myself. What promise? That if I could overcome that situation, I'd dedicate the rest of my life to helping others going through the same. And you kept that promise. I did. And you know what's most amazing? The more I help others, the happier I become. That's because you found your purpose in life. What is it? To spread love and hope wherever you go. Jennifer smiled. You really think so? I'm sure of it. You change the lives of everyone you meet, just like all those people changed mine. The end. And you, what did you think of this story of perseverance? Share with us in the comments which part moved you the most, and if you know someone who's been through something similar. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories like this one.